Once upon a time, there lived a woman named Ineka. Ineka had always been a woman of strength, resilience, and unwavering devotion to her family. As an Igbo mother, she had raised her only daughter, Ada, with love, care, and sacrifice. Ada was the center of her world, the reflection of her youth, and the hope of her old age. When Ada married Kene, a young, ambitious man from their village, Nneka felt fulfilled. Ada had a bright future ahead, and Nneka was proud to see her daughter stepping into womanhood, a step that she had prepared her for since the day she was born. But life, as Nneka was about to learn, has its cruel twist. It started with innocent gesture. Kenneth would come to visit her while Ada was at work, asking for advice on family matters or helping her with the chores around the house. Nneka, who had never experienced much kindness since her husband's demise, found herself drawn to the attention. She reminded herself that he was her son-in-law, but somewhere deep inside, she felt a warmth she hadn't felt in years. One rainy evening, Kene came to Ineka's house, drenched and distressed. He had argued with Ada, and Ineka, as any mother would, invited him in to calm him down. As he sat by the fire, the weight of Kene's presence felt heavier than usual. He spoke about the pressures of his marriage, how he felt Ada was distant, consumed by her career, leaving him alone. Nneka, filled with empathy, held his hand, offering comfort. She understood what it was like to feel abandoned. That night, in a moment of weakness, lines blurred. What happened between Nneka and Kene could never be undone. It was a mistake, a lapse in judgment, but the consequences of that night would ripple far beyond anything she could imagine. A few weeks later, Nneka began to feel unwell, nausea, dizziness, and an overwhelming fatigue that she couldn't shake off. Her heart sank when the midwife confirmed her worst fear: she was pregnant. At first, Nneka was in denial. It couldn't be true. She was too old for this, too seasoned to have made such a grave error. But the truth stared her in the face. Every morning when she looked in the mirror, she was carrying her daughter's husband's child. Shame, the guilt, the fear, it suffocated her. She thought about Ada, her beloved daughter, and how this would break her heart. Ada had trusted her, looked up to her, and now Nneka had betrayed her in the worst possible way. Weeks turned into months, and Nneka's belly began to grow. She wore loose clothing, kept to herself, and avoided Ada and Kene as much as she could. But the silence weighed heavily. Nneka couldn't live with the secret, yet she couldn't bear the thought of destroying her daughter's happiness. Every night she lay awake, haunted by the life growing inside her and the life she would soon tear apart. One evening, Ada came to visit her mother unexpectedly. As soon as she saw Nneka, her eyes widened in shock. Mama, Mama, she whispered, her voice trembling. Are you pregnant? Nneka froze. Tears welled in her eyes as she shook her head. But her body betrayed her, the undeniable truth bulging beneath her dress. Ada stepped back, confusion and anger flashing across her face. Whose child is this? Ada asked. There was a long silence before Nneka could answer her. It is Skene. Ada world shattered in an instant. Her knees buckled and she fell to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Nneka tried to reach for her, but Ada recoiled. The betrayal too much to bear. How could you, Mama? Ada cried. How could you do this to me, Mama? Nneka wept, her heart breaking not just for her daughter, but for the child growing inside her. I am sorry, Ada, she whispered. It was a mistake, a terrible, terrible mistake. Ada didn't speak to Nneka for weeks. Kene, when comforted, confessed with tears in his eyes, begging for Ada's forgiveness. But the damage was done. Ada couldn't look at her husband, nor could she face her mother. The two people she loved and trusted the most had betrayed her in the most unimaginable way. Months later, Nneka gave birth to a baby boy. He was beautiful, innocent, and unaware of the storm surrounding his existence. Ada, despite her anger, couldn't help but feel drawn to him. He was, after all, a brother, but the bond between mother and daughter had been severed, perhaps forever. As Nneka cradled by the baby in her arm, she realized that some mistake can never be undone. The love she had for Ada would never fade, but she knew she would live the rest of her life with the weight of her betrayal. She had lost her daughter's trust, and no amount of remorse could ever mend the broken pieces of their relationship. Yet, in her heart, she held onto a small glimmer of hope that one day, maybe Ada would find it in her heart to forgive her, not for her sake, but for the child who deserved love, no matter the circumstances of his birth. But for now, Nneka's word was one of the silence and regret, a painful reminder of the price of her action.